The lights dimmed inside the America's Got Talent Music Room, and a hush rippled across the crowd as a group of 20 singers in white robes stepped forward. Their name, Sainted, glowed softly on the screen behind them, but it wasn't their attire that captured attention. It was the calm, unshakable grace on the face of their leader, Alicia Brooks, a woman who once believed she would never sing again. Years earlier, Alicia had been a high school music teacher in New Orleans, her voice a golden instrument that lifted children from the weight of their days, until Hurricane Katrina stole not only her school but the piano where she taught every morning. In the months that followed, she wandered from shelter to shelter, singing quietly to strangers to soothe their pain, but when her own mother passed away in the chaos, the music in her heart went silent. Years passed. One cold morning, Alicia found herself volunteering at a community center, where she met others who had lost nearly everything: veterans, nurses, single parents, and together they rediscovered something sacred, the power of song to rebuild faith. That small circle became Sainted, a gospel ensemble born not from fame but from survival, each member carrying a story of grief turned into grace. Tonight was their first national appearance, and as the judges looked on, Simon leaning forward, Sophia whispering, "They look like angels," Alicia took a deep breath. The backing track began, a soft piano rendition of Robin S.'s "Show Me Love." But instead of the upbeat club anthem people expected, Alicia's arrangement was slow, reverent, and full of ache, the kind that comes from people who have lived every lyric. The first note floated out of her, trembling, pure, and impossibly human. Behind her, voices rose in harmony, the sound swelling like dawn over a wounded city. In that instant, the audience stopped being an audience, they became witnesses to redemption. Midway through the song, a spotlight found Marcus, a quiet baritone who had once been a firefighter. The camera caught the scar along his jaw as he sang the line, "Show me love, show me life," and viewers would later learn that he'd lost 3 colleagues in a blaze yet never stopped volunteering at burn wards to comfort survivors. Each solo told a different story: Tanya, who sang to her newborn through NICU glass; Jerome, who forgave the drunk driver who took his sister's life; and Alicia, who finally allowed herself to grieve and forgive the storm that shattered her home. The judges had tears in their eyes, but the most powerful moment wasn't visible on stage. It was unfolding backstage, where a janitor named Earl, who had worked in the building for 20 years, stood frozen by the door. His daughter, battling leukemia, had begged him to stay home that night, but he needed the overtime. As Sainted's harmonies filled the air, Earl pulled out his phone to record the song for her. Later, he would play it at her hospital bedside, and the nurses would swear they saw her lips move to the words, "Show me love." None of that was planned. It was the ripple effect of compassion, the unseen miracle that music often leaves behind. Back on stage, Alicia reached the bridge, her voice cracking as she whispered, "Hearts break, but still we rise," and the entire audience rose with her, thousands of people on their feet, strangers holding hands as if drawn by invisible thread. When the final chord faded, there was a silence so thick it felt holy. Then came the eruption, applause, cheers, and a standing ovation that seemed to last forever. Simon wiped a tear and said softly, "That wasn't a performance. That was a prayer." But what truly transformed the moment came a week later, when the clip went viral. Across America, and then across the world, people watched Sainted's rendition and shared it not because it was flawless, but because it made them feel again. Donations flooded into relief funds, churches reopened community choirs, and Alicia received thousands of letters from people saying, "Your song reminded me that love still exists." On the night of the finale, Alicia returned to the AGT Music Room, not to compete but to rehearse a new verse she had written. The producers asked her what inspired it. She smiled and said, "Someone sent me a video of a little girl in a hospital bed singing along to us. I realized she showed me love. That girl was Earl's daughter." The AGT team flew her in secretly for the finale, now recovering and strong enough to walk. When Alicia saw her backstage, she dropped to her knees in tears. The girl handed her a drawing, a heart surrounded by golden notes, and said, "You gave me my song back." Moments later, Sainted sang again, their harmonies now brighter, stronger, echoing through the hall like sunlight breaking through stained glass. The crowd swayed, judges cried, and even the backstage crew, usually stoic, stood shoulder to shoulder, hands clasped. As the music swelled, every listener felt something awaken inside. The quiet reminder that love, real love, isn't loud or perfect, it's a gift we show in the smallest acts of kindness. When the final note faded, Alicia whispered into the microphone, "If you still believe in love, show it." The audience answered not with applause but with silence, hands over hearts, tears falling freely, the kind of silence that says thank you. That night, America didn't just witness a choir, it witnessed humanity at its best, ordinary souls proving that compassion can rise even from ruin. And long after the credits rolled, people everywhere kept humming that melody, strangers comforting strangers, hearts healing hearts. Because once Sainted sang, "Show me love," the world didn't just hear it, it remembered how to.